2003 Form B AP Stat test, we're working on designing experiments on the problem that is presented to us. And in this particular experiment, they're trying to see how a new coffee filter will have an effect on the cholesterol level of people drinking it. So for this problem, or in any AP Stats problem, it's extremely important that you read the experiment and try to understand and put yourself in the shoes of the researcher. So in this case, the study is about coffee filter and cholesterol level. Now for the first problem, we're supposed to describe an appropriate method in assigning the subjects to two groups, which is the experimental group and the control group, that will give us an equal number of subjects. So to answer this problem, we're just going to randomize our sample of 300 non-smoker participants in this particular example. So what we can do is we can divide the 300 non-smoker participants into two. The first half will be 150 for our control group, and the other half will be for our experimental group. So by articulating it in statistics, we can say that we can assign digits for all 300 participants from 000 up until 300, because we have a 3-digit numbers here in our sample. And then we're going to use a random number generator and take the first half of the 150 for our experimental group or control group, and the second half will be the other group of participants. And this is how we're going to design our sampling design for problem letter A. Now for problem letter B, we're supposed to choose to include a group who only drank coffee that was made with the standard filter, and we're asked why is it important to include a control group in the study, even though cholesterol levels will be measured at the beginning and at the end of the study. So in this particular question, we are just asked to justify why we need to use a control group in this particular experiment. So in this particular case, the reason why we have the control group is because we know that the control group will help us eliminate some of the confounding variables in our experiment, because we don't know, because this is a 10-month or 10-week experiment. So we don't know that if in that 10 weeks that they're doing the experiment, the effects of the change in their cholesterol level may be attributed to their diet or the change in their lifestyle within the 10-week period. So we can focus on that particular concept on how we're going to justify why we need a control group in our experiments. So let's go ahead and write out our answer for problem letter B. And this is our answer for problem letter B. And for problem letter C, in C, we need to see which test would you conduct to determine whether the change in cholesterol level would be greater if people use the new filter rather than using the standard filter. So for letter C, we're just being asked as to what statistical test we're going to use to conduct this experiment. And since we're using two samples, the control group and the experimental group, there are two types of tests that is applicable to use for this particular experiment. We can use the two-sample t-test, or the difference of two means. So both of which will help us answer this particular experiment using a statistical test. So let's go ahead and write our answer for letter C. And that is our answer for problem letter C. And for the last problem, why would the researchers choose to use only non-smokers in this study? So in this particular experiment, they only used non-smokers for their experiment. And the reason why the researchers only used non-smokers participant is to be able to eliminate the source of variability that smokers or people who smokes may add into the experiment, into participants who are non-smokers, because we know that smoking, or it's a known fact that smoking affects the level of cholesterol for each individual. So let's go ahead and answer problem letter D with that particular concept. And this is how we are answering this problem for the AP Statistics FRQ problem number 4, Form B.